never encountered readings like this before.
4 phases locked and ready to fire, sir.
Hey guys, this is Terror of Terror with another episode of Behind the Numbers with Terror of Terror. Today we're going to look at a component of the swarm event. I need to get, it seems like, 1 billion frequency modulators in order to upgrade a ship that I just recently obtained, and that is the Franklin. It's a pretty cool looking ship. So I got it down here. How many of these frequency modulators do I need? If I go to the upgrade tab, I can look. There's 3 energy weapons, which is awesome. I need 12,000 frequency modulators, though, to upgrade just one of these energy weapons. And again, I've got 3 of them. I'm only in tier 2. I am going to be farming hostiles for a very long time. Yes, I get some frequency modulators from the event, but that's not going to do very much for me. The event's going to be ending here in not too much longer. I'm going to have to be killing hostiles for the foreseeable future for a long time. So it means what I need to do is I need to look in to figure out what is the most efficient way for me to farm these hostiles to obtain as many frequency modulators as I can on a daily basis. So there's a couple questions that we'll want to ask and we'll want to have answered. And so that's kind of the idea behind this episode, is what's the best way to do that. So for me, first thing I need to do is figure out what ship I'm going to use. My Franklin is definitely not leveled up enough relative to other ships I have available, so I will not be using the Franklin to help me yet. As I eventually get this thing leveled up to the point where it can actually start killing some higher level hostiles, so I can bring in some higher quantity of frequency modulators, then I can go ahead and start using the Franklin out there on the battlefield. But right now he's going to stay in the dock and wait for me to accumulate frequency modulators so I can upgrade him so he can become usable. So right now what I'm going to do is I am going to switch out the Franklin. I am going to use my North Star, which is by far my strongest ship, and this will allow me to attack higher level hostiles. Now, just because I can attack higher level hostiles doesn't mean that I necessarily go out and attack the highest level hostile that I can attack. And that's really the purpose of this episode, is to figure out, well, how high a level of hostile should I attack given the ship that I have? And you can see my methodology and how I determined what that level is. And then you can follow that and determine what is the right level of hostile for you to be attacking. There is an interesting aha moment here that you're going to see later in the video, some mechanics of how the hostiles attack, which I just didn't know until I actually started tracking the numbers, and that's the idea here. So we're going to go behind the numbers, and we're going to go ahead and see how that plays out. Now, if you saw my first video, that video was talking about what is the right crew for hostile hunting, which comes in handy here, right? Because that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be hunting hostiles. So I have that crew right now set up for the swarm event. This is Cadet Ahur is my captain, Cadet Kirk is the first officer, and then I have Telon as my second officer, because the swarm enemies are interceptors, and so that means they are delivering kinetic weapon damage, and Telon helps reduce that. So that's kind of the idea there. So this is my crew. So I'm going to go ahead and get out there into the field, and I'm going to start attacking hostiles. Now where I am going to go is I'm going to be going to a level 20 system. I'll be taking my North Star to a level 20 system, and those are going to be the hostiles that I am going to attack. My North Star is now en route. I'm a couple minutes out. Okay, but how did I decide to go to a level 20 system to farm frequency modulators? Now, before I get into that, yes, you have daily objectives you need to do, and there's certain level of hostiles that you need to kill in order to accomplish that. So you're going to be attacking those level of hostiles no matter what. But if you want to go above and beyond that to specifically farm frequency modulators, what you need to know is what is the level of hostile that you should be focusing on. And again, that's going to be different depending on the player, depending on the level of your ship. But you'll be able to see exactly what I went through to determine what that is. And again, there's going to be some interesting information that we're going to see. So my ship is en route, but what we can do is we can benefit from the fact that I've already done the testing and I've collected the data. And so what I've done is I've actually gone to 3 different systems, and I've done some attacks. So I've gone to a level 19 system, a level 20, and a level 22. I figured one of those systems is going to be the sweet spot for me. So, and I attacked a hostile in each of those systems. I attacked 3 hostiles in each of those systems to give me an average, and then I went ahead and compared some numbers. So let's go ahead and look at what those numbers tell me and see if it helps me determine what system I really should be focusing on when I am trying to farm frequency modulators. Okay, what you're seeing is the data that I have collected. Now there are basically 3 rectangles here that you want to look at. There's a light green headed one on the left. There is a more darker green section in the middle, and then there's a red one on the right. So the first rectangle, the light green, that's enemy level 19. I attacked 3 enemy level 19, and you can see the individual attacks listed out there. So for enemy level 19, I actually was hit 4 times by each of the enemies, and this is the amount of hull damage that they did. Because at the end of the day, this is what matters. What matters is how much hull damage did your ship take before you were able to kill them. That's what's important. Not how much damage you do, but how much damage they did to you. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be dead either way. If they're killing you, what's the point, right? So they're going to be dead, and the question is, how much hull damage did you take before they died? So enemy level 19, they only were able to hit me 4 times, and so I can see the amount of damage that was accumulated. If I look at the bottom there, so the first enemy did a combined 785 damage, the next one did 929, and the third one did 843. So if I go to the average right below that, you can see the average damage over the 3 enemies was 852. So on average, I'm taking 852 damage to my hull every time I kill a level 19 hostile. That's what that means. Now, if I kill a level 19 hostile, I am going to get 13 frequency modulators. That's how much I get. So if I go ahead and calculate a rate, I can determine how much hull damage am I taking for each of the frequency modulators that I earn when I attack and kill a level 19. And in this case, I'm taking 66 damage to my hull for every frequency modulator that I actually obtain. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's go to the next grouping though, enemy level 20. For enemy level 20, I'm definitely getting attacked a lot more by each of these individual enemies because the rounds are lasting longer, right? So that's the idea behind that. So looks like I'm getting attacked around 9 times there. So the first enemy did 1,467 hull damage. The next one did 1,388. The third one did 1,632. If I take the average over the 3 enemies, that's 1,496. That's quite a bit more average damage per enemy for enemy level 20. But when you kill an enemy level 20, you're getting a lot more frequency modulators. It scales up quite nicely. And this is something that's a little bit different than some of the other resource farming videos, which I'll do in the future because this is scaling a little bit differently. So instead of getting 13 frequency modulators when I attacked and killed a level 19 hostile, in this case I get 22. So I'm getting 22 frequency modulators every time I kill an enemy level 20 hostile. That's awesome. The hull damage per frequency modulator in this case is 68, so it's just slightly not as efficient as a level 19 kill, but the reality is I'm going to have to kill quite a less amount of enemy hostiles to get all of the frequency modulators I need if I were to go and kill enemy level 20 hostiles as opposed to enemy level 19 hostiles. It's just slightly less efficient in terms of the hull damage per frequency modulators, but I would rather take that a little bit of inefficiencies, and I'm getting 22 versus 13 for each of my kills. Okay, let's look at the last grouping though, in the red, enemy level 22. Now enemy level 22, from a frequency modulator perspective, you get 32 frequency modulators. That's pretty good. You're getting, again, it scales up nicely, so I'm getting a lot of frequency modulators. But of course, it's a higher level hostile, much higher strength, and so the rounds are going to go a lot longer. In fact, for a couple of them, the rounds went to around 17, I want to say. It's either 17, yeah, I think 16 actually. 16. There's 17 attacks within 16 rounds. So they went 16 rounds. The middle one looks like it ended a little bit earlier. I think I got a crit hit in that one. Now, if I look at the damage that they did, though, that the enemy level 22s did, the 3 of them, the first one did 4,614, the second one was 4,113, and the third one was 4,719 for an average of 4,482. That's considerably more than what the enemy level 20 hostile did to me. So if I'm running out the numbers and I look at my hull damage per frequency modulator, it's way worse. It's 140. It is over twice the amount. So that is definitely far less efficient than if I were to go and kill enemy level 20 hostiles. So for sure, for me, based on my analysis, enemy level 20 hostiles is where I should go if I want to farm frequency modulators. And again, I need to get, it seems like 1 billion of them, so I'm going to be farming these guys forever. But what was really interesting, is a little bit of an aha moment, is, and you can see it highlighted in yellow, in round 12, if your enemy hostile, your swarm enemy hostile, lasts to round 12, he brings out the big guns. It's really interesting. It's an attack that is basically about 5 times the amount of a normal attack. So if your enemy lasts that long, you're gonna get smacked in round 12. And I did do a test with enemy level 19 with a weaker ship. From an offensive perspective, that did last that long, and enemy level 19 also had the same pattern from a damage perspective in round 12. In round 12, that enemy smacked me hard again. So there's definitely an incentive to try to kill your enemy before you get to round 12, because if he lasts that long, that big weapon charges and it's going to hammer you. So one thing that did come up as soon as I saw this is I kind of thought to myself, well, this could actually make me rethink who my crew should be, right? I mean, if I can get out of this thing, if I could attack at enemy level 22 and I can get out of the round before level 12, before I get hammered by that really big attack, maybe it makes sense to use a little bit of a different crew. Well, I went ahead and I did try that. I actually took out my hostile hunting crew, which is really what I always use, just to go ahead and check it out, right? I want to be objective and look at it. So what I did is I looked at a morale crew, and then I looked at a Nero burning crew to see would that be something that would work out better. And we can actually go ahead and look at that. Let's go ahead and jump over to the logs, and I'll try to thumb through that, and I'll show you a couple of attacks, and we'll see what happens. And what we're looking for is we're looking to see, did it go past round 12? Because if it went past round 12, you already know that is definitely not going to be an efficient attack. Okay, so we're in the back in the game here. Let's look at the log. And so I got a lot of attacks here. This is where I did all my testing. I attacked my 19s, I attacked my 20s, I attacked my 22s. And then these last batch of attacks of the 22s, these were actually done with some different crew setups. So, and I don't remember which ones were which, so let's go ahead and have some fun and see if we can identify one. I'm going to go ahead and click on that guy. Let's see who he is. Okay, that's a Nero crew. So this is my Nero setup. Now, keep in mind, I don't have my epic crews leveled up all that high. So I'm a mid-level player, and really my feedback and whatnot is going to be most applicable to those low to mid-level players like myself. If you have Nero completely maxed, you very well may get a little bit of a difference. You may get a big difference. I don't really know. I don't have a fully maxed Nero, so it's really hard for me to say or comment on that. But I do have a Nero setup, and this is what I went with. So let's go ahead and see what happened. If I go ahead and look at the battle log, oh, nope, round 17. This guy went to 17 rounds. Looks like Nero didn't do anything until round 10. Again, he's low level, so he's not proccing as often or as frequently as you might be having if you have a fully level Nero. I don't know how many people have a fully level Nero at this point, but if you do, you may get a little bit of a different outcome. All I know is that's 17 rounds. That's quite a bit of rounds. It's basically the same level of rounds that I had when I was using the damage reduction crew. But of course, I'm not getting the damage reduction, so I'm getting hammered during those 17 rounds. Okay, so that was a Nero crew. Let's see. Let's check out this one. This is another attack using the Nero crew. This one went 16 rounds, so he did proc a little bit earlier there. But again, it ends up being the same result. It just lasts so long. I'm going to get hammered by the big gun. I don't avoid the big damage. And I'm not getting the benefit of the damage reduction. So Nero's not working out for me. Let's see. I think I have a morale crew in here somewhere. Okay, so here is a morale crew. Again, I have a low morale crew. That's what I have. I have a low morale crew. I don't have them super leveled up, just like for Nero, right? But this is what happened. I got a morale crew. What happened? Level 22. Went to round 14. So better than what happened with the Nero. Of course, I got a crit hit in there. Definitely better than my experience with Nero, but still went to round 14. I'm still getting hammered by the big gun. So I'm still getting quite a bit of damage there. If my morale crew was leveled up more, maybe that's a little bit of a different experience. Maybe I can get out of there before level 12, and maybe that ends up making a difference, right? So your mileage may vary a little bit in terms of that. You'll definitely want to see how your crew setups play out based on how high leveled your crews are. I don't think most players have high level morale and high level neuro though. So that's really the idea here, is if you don't have all of those high level setups, you're definitely going to find yourself most optimal using the traditional damage reduction crew. And even with those high level setups in comparison, it may do better, but it may not do all that much better. I think it'll be incremental at best, just because of the sheer amount of damage reduction that the cadet or her crew brings. And again, you can look at the first video, you can kind of see that play out from those testing. So the idea behind this video was to kind of show, if you want to farm frequency modulators to get the bazillion frequency modulators you need to upgrade the new Franklin ship, which looks really cool, I love the design, then this is a good way to do that. What you want to do is you want to identify what is the right level of hostile for you to be farming to maximize the amount of frequency modulators you're going to be able to bring in relative to the amount of hull damage your ship is going to take. And what I would advise you to do is I'd advise you to find the level of ship to attack where you're not going to hit round 12. It's really that simple, because once you hit round 12, you get smacked with the big gun. Okay guys, that's all I got here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash the like and subscribe. That's how I know that you guys are getting value out of these videos, is by you clicking those like and subscribes, right? And so I appreciate you guys viewing this video. Hope it helps you out. Peace. Stay safe out there. Good luck with the hostile hunt.